Hi, so today we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to create an ePub and a MOBI file from your Word document using the Calibre software. So this is a pretty quick and easy process. When you first install Calibre, it's going to look a little bit like this, depending on what version you're using. And this quick start guide is always going to be in here. If you want to learn how to use Calibre a little bit more, this is a great place to start. But for what we're doing today, we're just going to be basically importing our Word document and then using it to create an ePub file and then a MOBI file. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add books. When we click on that, it's going to give us the option to select. I'm going to go out here and just click the Word document for a novella that I've done before. It's going to read that file and then it's going to add it here. And of course, there's not a lot of information here, and that's fine. You can go in here and edit this if you want. So I'll just go ahead and change this. Okay, author is Morgan Shaw. Okay, you don't have to change that stuff because we can change it in the metadata later, or you can go ahead and change it here. So our file is in here, and what we're going to do at this point, make sure it's selected, and then we're going to click on Convert Books. And it's going to bring up this new window. So the input format, as you can see here, is docx, which is our Word document, and we're going to be outputting it to an ePub. Okay, so here's the other place where you can edit your metadata. And so it is part of a series. I'm going to go ahead and say the Dorman, novellas, a companion series. Okay, and this is book 1 in that series. Now, I don't actually have my cover handy here, but what you would do if you want to, you can go right here and select your cover file from wherever you may have that saved, and it'll change that to use your actual cover file. Okay, so beyond that, you can go through here and look at some of these settings. For the most part, we are not going to need to change them. Now, on the page setup, you can actually design this, set it to where it's going to compile specifically for where it's going to be kind of optimized for specific readers. So, for example, if most people are going to be using a Kindle Fire, you could do that. If they're using a Kobo reader or a Nook reader, something like that. But for the most part, you're not going to want to do that. You're just going to say a default profile output or a generic e-ink, and that's fine. So we're just going to leave that with the defaults. Most of this other stuff you do not need to worry about. You can see that there's some things in there you can play with if you run into any problems, but 99% of the time you're not going to need to mess with any of those settings. So, got our docx input, outputting to ePub, and we're just going to say OK. And that's going to take us back to this main screen, and it looks like it's not doing anything. But if you look down here in the corner, you're going to see where it says Jobs 1, and it's got this little processor circle going. So we're going to give that just a moment here and let it finish up. Okay, so it has stopped, and it says Job 0. Now, if you look at the details of our book here, you can see the formats. There's a docx, which is our original document, and then now we also have an ePub version. And if you want to take a look at that, you can actually click on that, and it should open it in the default viewer that's built into Calibre. And then you can just kind of scroll through there, oops, and see more about it. And if you want to actually view where the file is saved, this click to open will open up the path, the folder where it is saved on your computer. Generally, that's under your Calibre library, which is in your user folder on your computer. Okay, so we've created the ePub. Now we're going to create a MOBI file from that ePub. So we're going to go ahead and click on Convert Books again. We're going to make sure it's selected. Click on Convert Books. Except this time, we're going to select the input format as an ePub and the output format as a MOBI. So if you remember, ePubs are for pretty much all the other devices that are not Kindles, okay? And MOBIs are for your Amazon devices, your Kindles and those sorts of things. So we shouldn't have to change anything else in here because it's going to pull in all of that information we already put in for the ePub when we created it. But again, you'll go in here if you need to and change your cover image. You can go through here and look through these again, but we're not going to be changing anything. It's going to be exactly the way it was before. And then we're just going to say, okay. And again, it's going to give us that little job down here. It's going to give us the spinning circle. And then once that is finished, that will change to a solid circle and it'll say job 0. Okay, just like that. Now, if you look, you'll see we have our formats docx, ePub, and MOBI. So I'm just going to go ahead and say click to open. It's going to open up the folder here. And this is where all of my files are saved. There's my docx, there's my ePub, and there's my MOBI. And of course, you can download viewers from, for your MOBIs, you can download a viewer directly from Amazon. It's called the Kindle Previewer, which will allow you to look at your MOBI files and ePub files, but it works best for MOBI files. ePubs will generally open up in, you can open them up and view them in the Calibre library viewer, or you can view them directly through like the Edge browser will open them and display them as well. But that is how you use the free Calibre software to create an ePub and a MOBI file very quickly. Hope this was helpful. See you next time.